Hi there, I'm Jay. I'm a web and graphic designer, and my last video that I had on my channel, or the only video I had on my channel, was a tutorial on acrylic transferring a printed image onto a woodblock. And since I'm moving more towards web and graphic design, I've decided to start making tutorials on YouTube about things related to that. So Photoshop, Illustrator tutorials, as well as maybe some HTML and CSS ones in the future. So this one specifically is about creating a robot button out of Illustrator. It's quick and it's pretty simple, and I hope you guys enjoy. And thanks to everyone who watched my last video and favorited it, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. Thank you! Okay, so here's my tutorial. I'm using MacBook Pro with running Mountain Lion, and so I just opened up Illustrator CS6. And it's taking a little while to boot up. I actually used to use a lot of CS5 and CS3 at my old job. But they're pretty similar, just a couple minor differences, but not too much that you'll see them really in this tutorial. So now I'm opening up a new file, a web file, and I'm setting it to the smallest size that the default is, 640 by 480. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And so now I'm going to start off by making the button itself. Here I'm taking the rounded rectangle tool, and with the corner radius set to 200 pixels, I'm going to make a 100 by 100 pixel square. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the gradients color panel, and from there I'm going to choose the gradient shade that I like. Normally what I do for buttons is I use the pastels. So here you go, here's the pastel panel. And so I'm just going to set it to the side so that I have it readily available. Okay, and so I'm going to choose, I think, either the orange or the yellow color. Okay, I think I like the orange color a little better. Okay, so now that I've selected my color, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the gradient so that it's running in a certain direction. Here, I open up the gradient panel on the right, and I'm going to change the angle to 90 degrees. Whoops. Okay, 90 degrees. Okay, and so the gradient should look like this with the darker part on the top. Now I'm going to take off the line, the outline, and then I'm going to make a larger version of this rounded rectangle. So I'm just going to copy it and then paste a new one. Whoops. Okay, there's copy. I'm really used to using the shortcuts on the keyboard, but I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing on the screen. Okay, so here, and I'm just going to set it on top of the other rectangle that I've made. Now I'm going to scale it so that it's a little bigger. I'm going to make it 20% bigger. Here, I set the preview on so that I can see how big it is. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so it's not showing, but that's fine. Oh, it was a little slow. Okay, so now that I have my larger rectangle, I'm going to set the larger rectangle to the back. And now I'm going to take the larger rectangle and change its gradient so it's running in the opposite direction of the smaller rectangle. 270 degrees? Okay, never mind, that doesn't work. I'm kidding, negative 90 degrees, right? Because it goes from 0 to 180 and then it goes into negative 180. Okay, so now that my button looks like this, I'm going to go ahead and start making the little robot that's going to go inside of it. Here I'm going to take the rounded rectangle tool. I'm going to make sure that the corner radius is set to 80 pixels. Here. 80. Okay. And that's not the size that I want, so I'm just going to get rid of it. I just did that to set the corner radius. So now I'm going to make the body of the little robot. Okay, I think this is the size that I want. And I'm going to set the color to gray. Oh, whoops, I'm running low on battery. 1 second. Okay, Okay, so back to the tutorial. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the little ears for my little robot. I'm going to set the corner radius to 10, and then I'm going to make these long little rectangles. So this is the first one. I'm going to put it to the right, and then I'm going to just move it a little bit and then copy it. And then I'm going to paste a copy of it. Make sure that they're next to each other. And now I'm just going to reflect it so that it's going in the other direction. Reflect it vertically. And then just move it over a little so it's spaced well. Now I'm going to group the two ears together. Where is group? Okay. Okay, right click. Yeah, I usually just do Command G, but in this case I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so after I grouped it, I made sure that they were aligned vertically, and I'm going to put the ears a little closer, and now I'm going to make the little circle eyes. And make sure to hold down Shift while I'm using the elliptical tool here to make sure that I have a perfect circle. Okay, just gonna close up a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm gonna make it a little smaller, and now I'm going to make a copy of it and move it over to the side. Whoops, I didn't paste the copy. There you go. Okay. Okay, just gonna make sure they're horizontally aligned with each other. Now I'm going to group them together and make sure that everything is vertically aligned. Okay, now I'm going to make a little box for the body of my little robot guy. I think this size will do. Okay, just gonna make sure the color is the same as the rest of the robot using the eyedropper tool. Okay, I'm going to make it a little skinnier. Okay, and now I'm going to select everything and make sure it's vertically aligned. Okay, now that I have the whole body done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine all of the shapes for the body other than the eyes so that it's one continuous shape. So I'm going to go to Pathfinder, to Shape, and I'm going to merge all the shapes together. Okay, now I'm going to send it to the back so that I can see the eyes. Okay, now I'm going to take the eyes and take the body shape and then subtract the eyes from it so that it removes that space from the eyes, or from the body that I've created. Now I'm going to send it to the front so I can put it on the front of my button. So I'm going to move it over now. There you go. Okay, so now I'm going to make sure that everything is aligned horizontally and vertically. Now I'm going to change my little robot guy to white so I can blend him in a little bit. Okay, and now I'm going to change his opacity. Let's see, maybe 40? Or it's a little too light, so I'll bring it up a little bit, 60. Okay, that looks good. And now I'm going to move him down a little bit. Okay, so that's fine. Now that he's all done, I'm going to move him over to the top left. Okay, and I'm going to resize my artboard so that it fits snugly around my button. Okay, and so now I'm going to save my new button. I'm going to save for the web. And here there's a couple choices for how you want to save this. So if you wanted to save it as a JPEG, you're not going to have the transparent background. As you can see, it's white. If you try saving it as a PNG 8, then I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little white border around it. Right there. And we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to save it as PNG24. It's going to get rid of that border around the image. And so I'm going to save it in a new tutorials folder. New folder. Tutorials. I'm going to name him Robot Button. Okay, and since I use camelback typing, every time I switch words I use a capital letter. I don't know, it's a programming thing that I picked up. Okay, so that's it for my tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.